Hi.
Oh,
Hello.
oh, the
Hi,
doggy
everybody.
whiteboard in the middle of the Umbrella Corp hallway.
Oh fuck, we're in the Umbrella Corporation.
The teacher has pulled us out of the classroom to tutor us one-on-one. We are in trouble.
I have brought a clipboard, a special one that goes sideways so that I can write down all of my notes for you.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
awesome.
Oh fuck.
Handcrafted hell. This only goes for like the setup. This is a very the layout caught me off guard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Oh, don't be afraid. I'm only going to be making monsters of my own creation.
Yay!
Don't worry. It only has it has the J virus.
We're going to here. This is Josh is going to make the Torment Nexus from hit game Don't Create for Torment Nexus.
Listen.
This is my torment nexus.
Okay, so the autism has been autisming. This is how I'm going to be writing down all of my stuff. This is the best I could do. I've got MS Paint.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Excited. Love the MS Paint on top of the clipboard. That's really good.
Well,
This is in the future. This is what like the most accessible form of technology will be. Are just little clipboards that have MS Paint on them.
Yay!
my options were try to mess around with this PNG some more to make it transparent, or be lazy, and you understand.
Yeah, no, doing the lazy thing that makes a lot more sense.
You're
Like-
so scared of of MS? Wow. MS, it stands for My Scary.
God.
My scary.
Hang on, that one's getting a pin.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ford.
So-
Wonderful, Ford.
Wonderful contributions as always.
10 out of 10.
I'm
my
absolutely
story.
going to take your suggestion of making this the J virus.
Hell yeah.
That's a bad line. That's a better line.
New strain
The
specifically
J virus
for
O
Augies.
variant.
What's the O stand for?
Die. Jerk off.
You can't call me that. What's wrong with you?
You said the O variant of the J virus.
You can't call me that. Gordon, you're being so mean to me.
Not
Evil
very
I can't
feminist
say
of
it.
you.
I can't let Josh die. I can't say it.
Not very feminist of you.
Yeah, don't kill my screen with those very funny jokes you make.
I'll take us all down. I'm the patient zero.
But I can say not very feminist of you. I think.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that will not get me murdered. I think.
Yeah, no, because you're just using the word feminist and like, as you're not using it to
Yeah.
like as a slur or anything.
Yeah, because I am a feminist, you see.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, you could reclaim it.
God.
The Harrier Dubois says this.
Wonderful start, everyone. 10 out of 10. Right, so, first step of creating zombies. You have to decide what type of zombies you're gonna make.
Ooh.
I do want to say, I'm imagining this as like we're like at the Umbrella Corporation and we're like interns that you're teaching.
That is
Right.
exactly the vibe I was going for.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The cute zombies. Well, I can make a cute
Now-
zombie for you right here.
Now, what about some kind of zombie, right? But it's worms.
What if there was a leech priest?
Fuck. What if, though?
That's horrifying.
Zombie dude. For
Yeah, that's
for
in Resident Evil 0. The leech priest? Yeah, that's a thing.
What if there was a guy who was a bunch of eyeballs, though?
yeah, but that's a game that everyone actually did play. Well, I haven't played yet. But that's because I take a long time to get ready to things.
Josh, please continue. I'm going to look up Leech Priest and ruin my Google results for the rest of my life.
I'm so sorry that you're going to have to look at that thing.
Leech Priest, I think, is like... I think you would make a character that's a Leech Priest, Gordon.
It doesn't help that there's an actual priest that's named Kenneth Leech.
Ah, gonna have to subtract
Oh,
Kenneth
yeah.
from that situation.
That was the issue where I was, the other day when I was trying to look up Barrett Sailor.
You found him eventually. Okay, so anyway, there's 3 types of zombies that I can think of. The viral kind / bacterial kind, the kind where it is a zombie virus. The parasite
Bacteria.
kind, where it is a mushroom or other such beast. And the magic kind, which is original zombies from Haiti. And also sometimes when companies have been running 30 years of video games and they're just like, fuck, we don't have any more ideas. Mold.
No, mold's
The mold isn't really the mold.
that's a fungus.
That is a fungus. That is the parasite type. But also, have you seen how it works? The guy just sticks his hand back on with some goop.
So the thing with the mold. Okay, I mean, to be fair about the looks on my hand, the Ethan Winters situation is that he's kind of all mold at that point. The mold is fun because it is technically a parasite, because it's a bit of column A, a bit of column B, you know. It's a parasitic fungus, but it also has been, like, horrifically modified into basically being, like, a zombie virus, while also, like, effectively converting your whole body into the molds.
I'm going to be honest here. Ethan, he's all 3 of these.
Yes! That's
He's
the
our
fucked
special
up
little
thing about...
logo.
That's the fucked up thing about the mold, is that it's all 3.
Ethan's special.
Me liking I actually like I'm not saying I'm an expert on epidemiology, but I do know like an amount, and like I'm trying to keep myself from going, well, actually.
No, please feel free to actually me. I don't know everything there is to know about epidemiology.
So like fungal infections are not the same as a parasitic infection. Like like let me try to look up for
No, you're absolutely correct. They're definitely more of like closer to the viral bacterial stuff. It's just these are categorizations for like the difference between the Last of Us zombies and like Resident Evil 6 zombies.
Yeah, because I was also gonna say viruses and bacteria are very different from each other. Like I know why you're comparing them, but they're very functionally different from each other.
They are. Let's be honest. I've never seen a bacterial zombie. It's literally always like a virus.
Because the way that the way
Depends. I guess it kind of depends on if it's a situation of, is it just you get bit and you get turned into a zombie by getting bit, or is it here is something that you die and you become a zombie?
Yeah, I think it's also the fact whether something's taking over you or like your corpse is moving. Like
Right, that's
or something
actually
like that.
two ends of a spectrum that I wanted to consider also. The
Yeah.
undead to infected scale.
Yeah, but it's more of just like I think
Yeah.
that is
Because,
more
like,
of the type of thing where
for example, like Walking Dead zombies, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, the way it is, like, the
Hi,
way
Stormy.
the
Hi,
way the
Stormy.
zombie
Stormy.
virus in Walking Dead works, you know, is it is a like airborne viral infection that only takes effect once you actually die.
Yeah.
So it's like you could die in a completely unzombie related way, and you would still become a zombie.
And that is a
Uh,
very
it's-
fun way to do it. Probably one of my
Mhm.
favorite ways to do it.
mhm.
Oh yeah.
Which is
One-
why, like, the issue with the zombies in Walking Dead is it's not they bite you and that's kind of it's no they are going to you to fucking kill you, to rip you to pieces. It is not a oh let's make them become one of us. It's just let's just kill this guy.
It's a I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah. I
Hungry.
really
Because
like
it's like
when
it's yeah.
I
Sorry,
do
Bert.
really No, it's okay. I do really prefer when like media takes zombies and instead of it being like, oh, they're starving, oh, they're hungry, because like that makes no sense when you think about it because a zombie is dead. It's most likely that its organs are also non-functioning, so why would it need to eat? So like I do really like the idea of like, oh, like when it attacks humans, it's less that it's like, oh, it's starving, it's like dying, it's like no, it's more of the zombies don't recognize a human as a human, it recognizes a human as a threat.
A rabid animal does not bite you just because it's hungry.
Yes.
Literally.
There's also one of the funny the things about like rabies is that they like reproduce in like your salivary glands if I remember correctly, because
Mhm.
that's so like uh, rabies is a very interesting virus. I'm trying to remember.
It's
I
a
believe it is a
virus.
virus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a virus. That it's like when it bites, when you're bitten, it takes over the muscle tissue and then and it just stays like mostly there until it's reproduced enough of the viral cell, like the virus, to basically climb up your nervous system directly to your brain, or
Yes.
like directly up to your yeah, directly up your nervous system.
This is what a brain looks
Which
like, trust me.
The time for rabies
Nice.
to infect the brain can vary depending on where in the body you were bitten.
Yes. It and it's like it's only, and it only happens like once I guess it's done what it's like, the
It
as I
has an
said, like,
incubation period.
Yes.
yes, yeah, that's I forgot the word incubation period. Has diseases, autism, forgets the diseases.
Shaking your hand, shaking your hand, shaking your hand.
So like
Yeah, like that's why most zombie infections are like modeled off of rabies, because it
yes.
has the variable incubation cycle. It goes straight to your brain and then fucks you upness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like and it's a real world thing that you can study and pull reference from, you know? And
Yes.
like
Yes.
it's really fucking sick. I think one take on zombies I don't think I've ever seen is like okay, there is this type of like fungus that mainly affects insects where basically
Yeah,
it
the cordyceps.
yeah. But I like the idea of the cordyceps like because everything's like oh a zombie like was created and then it like attacks everything or they made a virus and it attacks everything. It's like what if just there was like a bunch of cordyceps that were just growing in cemeteries specifically
Gordon,
that
you
were
mean
strong
like
enough
Last
to
of
make
Us?
I thought Last of Us was more of a mold thing.
No,
No,
it's
that is
cordyceps
based off
explicitly.
cordyceps.
Really? Okay. It's
Yep.
been years since I played it, because like I played maybe an hour or two of it at my best friend's house, like not too long after it came out.
There's like specific areas where it's like where the virus is like deeply infested, where you'll see the zombies, or at least like any sort of zombie that's been a zombie for a long time will just straight up have the like mushrooms growing out of it.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's also
The like the clicker zombies, I think they're called.
Yes.
I do
there's
love the
also
clickers.
there's also the girl with all the gifts, if you've ever heard of that movie or book.
I've been meaning
That
to read that.
Yeah, and that one has
I can
that one
I
has a cordyceps type thing that like oh sorry.
can I mention something real quick because I just think it's really stupid about The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the zombie virus in that one is a fungus, right?
Yes.
It's a fungal infection.
Yeah.
So how the fuck can there be anyone who's immune to it?
That's look, that is where they definitely went away from like the realism of it. But I think the
Because-
leading theory is that she's not immune. It just the specific mushroom in her brain grew in such a way that it didn't do what it was supposed to do. Like she has a defective mushroom.
Okay, like she's infected, so
She's
she can't get
infected,
reinfected.
So she can't get reinfected, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is also why, minor spoilers for the end of the first Last of Us. If they had cut her open and destroyed her brain in order to get a quote-unquote cure, it wouldn't have done fuck all.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I haven't. I should say I haven't seen Girl with All the Gifts. I just know that that one has a cordyceps virus or cordyceps like uh infection
Yes.
factor. And like it has like specifically scenes where like the zombies quote unquote will like congregate in a specific area and like release spores. I think I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, but then like what makes, for example, like the mold from Resident Evil 7 and 8 interesting is the fact that it's like, I mean, first of all, the fact that it had to be specifically engineered to turn people into zombies. But even then, the people who become zombies are technically called werewolves, so...
If you're going to break out too many technicalities about Resident Evil 7 and 8, you're going to just stop having fun, I think. That is definitely a series where they did not put a lot of thought into the why and how. It's more of the, let's put a man in situations.
I feel like that's the point where they just put a man in situations, yeah.
It's the fact that it delves more into the bioweapon aspect of the series more than it does the zombie aspect.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing that since 4. Like, since 4, they're like, this is more about bioweapons than it is about, like, zombies.
Yeah, like, even, like, yeah, especially in 4, those aren't zombies. Even when it, like, especially when it comes to just the townsfolk, you know?
Yeah, they're just guys with a parasite.
I like the parasite.
That parasite is technically based off of the fucking T virus or whatever.
Oh, I don't want to get into progenitor virus nonsense.
Yeah, I don't. That's also just not as fun. I do like the Plaga stuff, at least. It's fun.
Yeah, I love Resident Evil. I do not like the science that they've put into it.
No,
I'm gonna be honest.
But you see, the progenitor virus is based on the mold.
They can just retcon whatever the fuck they want at this point.
Spencer saw the mold and thought it was so cool and said, I can do that, but better. Time to go to Africa.
I think it would be fun if you like took all the the Resident Evil games and like what we see about the virus on like a game by game basis,
Mhm.
and just treat it like multiple strains of like the different things, you know?
Well,
That
because
is
even
what
the
they
thing,
do. Like the
That
T
is-
virus and the G virus are different. They're from the first and the third games.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, there's a G virus? I only
Yeah.
knew
Yeah.
T.
The G virus is what creates things like Nemesis.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the
The
reason there's a guy
T-virus
wandering around
is,
screaming stars.
The T virus is what you take if you're fuck. I was gonna make an HRT joke and it didn't come together.
Yeah, I had
I'm
a-
sorry.
No, I felt you. It's like the T virus is what happens to is what the T virus is what they infect
I
you
mean,
with
what
when
does
you
this
walk
say
into
about
a Planned
Wesker?
Parenthood.
Don't worry about it.
No.
Wesker does have a
that man is
clone,
suspect.
and it is a woman. So
God.
I'm just gonna leave that on the
Anyway,
table. I think that was
I mean,
in
I'd
one of the
re-
Revelations games.
But yeah, no. What I think is
I
really
thought they
what
were
I-
just twins, though.
Oh,
Sorry.
were they
What I-
just twins?
what I think-
I don't know. I never
don't
played
know.
that game.
what I think is really interesting about the you know the virus in general, just the virus in Resident Evil, is that it's less is that it is specifically a virus that mutates you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's another interesting aspect of zombies is, again, is it a virus that, again, kind of the idea of, is it something that is taking over your body, or is it something that is turning you into something else?
I think the way they did it in Left 4 Dead with the mutations is the only way that like makes sense, unless you're going like super hard sci-fi, to where it's like messing with like your own body
'Cause
that
there's a lot
you
of-
already have. Like if you're genetically predisposed to gain a lot of muscle mass, you'll turn into a tank. If you take a lot of steroids, also the same.
Because there's a lot of stuff about, like, in general, in a lot of zombie media, there's a lot of stuff about, like, oh, zombies being stronger than humans. And
I
it's like,
don't
you know,
like
whether
those
that
types
comes
of
to,
zombies.
and you know, that kind of thing I feel like comes down to whether or not whether or not, you know, by being a zombie and no longer having, you know, a human pain tolerance or feeling pain, you can kind of move your body farther and kind of in ways that would normally break you in pieces.
Yeah, kind of like how the human body only runs like, I want to say it's like 20% maximum strength at any given time, because if you will crush your bones if you were at 100% all the time.
For example, like biting, for example. Like, yeah, you can bite pretty hard, but the reason zombies can bite a lot harder is because they don't have to worry about both either tearing their jaw apart or breaking their teeth.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A zombie is able to fucking bite into your bone because they don't have to worry about that shit.
Okay, I'm actually reading Wesker's wiki page. I didn't know that the T virus was meant to like be based on Ebola.
Yep.
Yeah.
That okay,
That's
They-
bacteria.
that makes
You
some
see,
sense.
they canonically find the virus that becomes the T virus in Africa.
Cool.
Because of-
I
because
love
of
that
the
it's just
video
Africa
games.
and nothing
Five?
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because 5 is. Oh, yeah, no.
We don't talk about Resident Evil 5 to the point that
5 is
even like
Uh,
the music has not been uploaded to Spotify for Resident Evil 5. They
yeah,
skip straight
yeah.
from 4 to 7. Or no, 4 to
God.
6.
Straight up,
Uh,
what do you think they're gonna do for the fucking remake of that game? Not to get too off topic. If this is too off topic, fucking kill me dead. Shoot me with a gun.
Hitting you with hammers.
Okay.
I did want to say really quick, because I wanted to look up, like, oh, does Wesker, you know, was it a sister or was it a clone kind of thing, you know?
Hmm.
I didn't know that Wesker was part of a eugenics experiment and that every single kid in that experiment has the surname of Wesker.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
That is-
didn't know that about Wesker? That's like his whole thing.
No,
That is
Ro-
explicitly
okay,
the
okay,
themes
no,
of
no,
the
no, no, understand, stop, understand, please understand, the only Resident Evil game that I know anything about is 2 and 7. My information starts and ends with Leon Kennedy and Ethan Winters.
That
I
is
see.
so fucking valid. That is all the Resident
al-
Evils you need to care about.
I didn't care about
I
Resident Evil until I didn't super care about Resident Evil until 7 came out
It's
because I like the mold virus and I really, really like Ethan.
I think that's
I
good because then that means Chris Redfield is just some guy who shows up at the end of 7 to you.
He punches the boulder. That's all I know. That's
mhm.
all
He
I know
punches a
about him.
boulder inside of an active volcano.
That the only thing
Mhm.
I know is he punches a boulder. That and at some point there's like a small Spanish man.
Okay,
I
I
don't know who
am
he
going to
is.
hit you all with hammers again.
Yep.
However, before we do that, I do want to say one thing about the Resident Evil games. I hope they remake 1 because they originally remade it right after 4.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'll agree to that one. One deserves like a bit more.
Well, it's
Mhm.
like you have because it's also the interesting thing of when they remade 1 on the GameCube, they made it specifically in the same style as the first game, so it still is very much the old style of Resi games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. Back to topic.
Yeah, back to topic. Maybe we should focus less on Resident Evil types of zombies and think about
Yeah.
other types of zombies also.
Yeah,
No,
let's
I'm
look
bringing
like
it up most. I was bringing it up mostly to bring up the idea of like mutation zombies as a thing,
Yeah.
as like though because yeah, there are different in lots of different media there are lots of different ways the zombie virus like works.
actually. I have one question.
Mhm.
For Josh.
Yes?
How do you feel about like this is like
There's
not
also
really
there's also
uh
some zombie media where zombies are effectively just vampires.
We'll talk about those later. What's your question, Gordon?
okay, this will
Hi,
hi
Punch.
Ronnie.
Hey,
Hello.
Ronnie.
Okay, this like I want your opinion on this. This is mostly for like this mostly occurs in like children's or like teen focused media, but how do you feel about like zombies who like give birth to zombies? Like
What?
they have like
I
there
mean,
is
that
a
is
passed on biological effect.
Okay, that
that
depends
is
entirely where on the undead to infected scale you're putting your zombies.
We're
Like,
talking like the body itself is like legally dead, like there's no pulse and
no
anything.
babies coming out of that thing.
Well,
Okay,
what?
fair enough.
Could you give me a specific example of the media that you're referencing?
I've
Because this is
Monster High.
fascinating.
Okay, the first one I never saw, but but like because like it was like it came out when I was a little too old, but like that fucking Disney Channel like zombies
Oh,
I
series.
knew it. I knew it. I
yeah.
didn't know. I
Not a
didn't
fan
know
of that. Gotta be
I
honest.
didn't know
second-
specifically that
Yeah,
was a
no,
thing in it,
no,
but
no.
like,
They have zombie children. They have zombie children, and like they're fucking discriminated against in like
yeah.
normal society. It's like weird. It's
Okay, at that point that's just zombies are
there's
vampires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
yeah, like honestly, just eh, I'm just saying this in general. If you just like take a glance at the Disney Channel zombies, like zombie with like a little dash between each letter series, it's fucking batshit.
It is
Yeah,
absolutely
that
batshit.
is
It is
there
not
is a
something I
style of
enjoy
zombies that is
at all.
just these are just vampires with extra steps or with a little bit more cannibalism.
These
The
are
second,
vampires, but they're vampires, but yuckier.
They're vampires, but yuckier, and
the
maybe
sec,
they eat you rather than just suck you.
Okay,
the
so
second piece.
go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, okay, there's another piece of media that I did watch, and I've like kind of been rotating this idea around in my brain a while. Did you ever watch the movie Warm Bodies or know anything about the
That
film Warm
is, in
Bodies?
fact, my favorite zombie book. Well, second
Fuck
favorite
yeah.
zombie book because World War Z is above
Okay,
it. But
I never read the book. I only saw the movie. But
movie's
like,
better.
what is your opinion on the concept of like a zombie coming back from that? Like like the idea of like someone being able to recover from being a zombie.
So one really cool concept I saw, I'll tell you about in just a second because I do need to ask if you've seen the 2000s remake of Dawn of the Dead.
I actually never. I don't think I've ever actually watched Dawn of the Dead. I've been meaning to.
Okay,
I know
it's
the
really
plot
good,
line.
in my opinion. It's not like the best because it was coming out of like the post 9/11 shit show that was Americana, but it does have the only way I would think that a zombie should be able to give birth in that movie, which is
Okay.
you were pregnant, few months from popping, you get infected, uh-oh, baby zombie.
Yeah, that like is the only method that I think like as like a baby should be a zombie unless like somehow a newborn got infected, you know?
I think that also depends on, for example, is it a situation of it is a airborne virus that only affects you once you die, or is it a fucking you getting bit is what gives you basically is getting bit what kills you and you were just already had the virus, or is getting bit what transfers the virus?
One idea I like spitballing to people is the concept of, oh, when you get bit, when you get infected, it alters you like your body on like to the level of like changing your DNA as it functions. You know, like to get weirder kind of creatures that like they're zombies, but they have like different abilities because
Yeah,
they've been
it's a
altered
virus
on
that
that
is
level.
actively mutating you.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not actually a huge fan of like the mutation type of zombies. Uh, like, I like it better when it's like just a disease that is like rabies, that it just wrecks your brain and makes you do weird, fucked up shit. Uh, like, it reverts you to a more primal, more animalistic state.
Yeah, like you are still, at the end of the day, a human. You're just a human that's become infected with a fucking terrifying virus.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And I think that if you want to do the type of zombies like in Warm Bodies, that's fine. That's definitely more of a magical type of disease, though, at least from the book's point of view. Because, like, they eat the brains and then they get the memories from whoever they ate the brain of.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, okay, there's another I totally forgot the name of it, but there's like this one zombie I think it's just called like iZombie or something
Yeah,
like that.
iZombie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Oh, that
the
one's on my.
idea that someone can be a zombie or like infected on a for like either a certain strain or like just to a certain level where they still are a fully functioning like human.
Here's the
Like
thing. I feel like if you are a fully functioning human, you're a vampire.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
not a zombie. That's a vampire. And I'm
like I
saying this
like
as
the
someone who likes iZombie. That's a vampire.
Yeah, that's
no,
just a different type of vampire.
they made
You
her
are a
pale and gave
vampire
her
with
white
extra
hair. That's a
steps.
vampire. I
But yeah,
do.
no, the idea of like eating someone's brain gives you their memories.
I still think that's a very solid idea. Like if the person who's infected isn't like still has some grasp on humanity, like, you know.
Yeah. I think
Cuz
the way I want like my type of zombies that we're creating here together to work is like after you get bit or get infected, however, there's like your body has a chance to fight it off. It's where you won't turn into a zombie. But you did if you proceed past a certain point in the infection, like with rabies, it's just like, well, you're dead now, basically.
yeah, like there's only so much they can do. Now, are now when it comes to like the like how someone turns into a zombie, are you a fan of like the it takes like a few hours to a few days to take effect, or the rather you are bit, you are going to die now kind of shit?
As long as it's consistent, I don't care. However, I do like the slow infection more as like
Yeah.
a source of drama.
Yeah, because the soul
the hiding
infection
your bite.
gives rise to the oh fuck I got bit but I don't want to die, so I don't want to tell anybody.
Yeah.
There's also something that I have never seen in a single piece of zombie media I've watched. The fact that it's in their brain, and yet the most effective way of taking out a zombie is a headshot. You're aerosolizing the infected material.
Yeah, and there's also the fact. No, I mean every time I'm watching
And
like
it's
a
also
zombie
like,
movie, and like
hey,
they're like drool all over like fucking mucous membranes, and I'm like, God, that is not you are not being that is not safe at all.
That
and
is not
also,
good for you.
hey, especially in media where they are using, say, or just any type of weapon, I guess, you are going to get covered in that thing's blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is like another thing you don't see that much is because like okay, like use a gun, take it out from a distance, you know. Then why do like that's the whole logic that people have. Like that's why you would try to take them out. You know, like that's why you use a gun in those things because it's quick and it's from distance. Why does every piece of zombie media is just like here's a shotgun, here's a gun that specifically works best at close range?
Now,
Because shotguns are fucking
cool.
awesome.
to be fair, shotguns work at a much farther range than most video games would have you believe.
That is
Fair
also
enough.
true.
Fair enough, but still, like
But
the
also,
way
to
that
be fair, in
shotguns,
movies
like,
where they have shotguns, they are not at that distance.
Yeah. Also movies.
yeah, but it's like also the fact that like shotgun, like, correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I'm not a gun junkie or anything like that, but like with shotguns, like the way that they like, you know, shoot the fucking bullet, it's more of a spray kind of motion, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So like that's
It
also
does
another reason why you actually no, that would make it better because then it'd be like a more
Yes.
localized thing.
it like buckshot would be really, really good for making sure that thing's head is gone.
Yeah, really,
Yeah,
really
see,
good for
more-
making sure there is infected material all over a 20-foot radius. This is why
Yeah.
the societies fall. Like, especially if they have zombie media in there, it's like, oh, just shoot it in the head. It's like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Can I
You see-
suggest a really fucked up method really quick
Mhm.
of like killing a zombie?
See, what every person needs
Uh.
is a fucking blunderbuss.
God. That's not what I was gonna suggest.
My girlfriend is so smart, everyone.
You
For-
see, you don't need a thing with spread. You need a thing with a big ass bullet.
Mhm. I mean, that's shotguns also just have slugs.
Yeah, that's
You can-
true.
You can shoot just a single big ol' shot from a shotgun. Doesn't entirely eliminate y'all's proposed problem of, oh, that thing's spreading blood everywhere, but
It's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
As yeah, just like Slugterra.
Yeah, it just looks like. God damn it! I'm glad we both saw that message and we're about to go. Yeah, just looks like Tara.
High-fiving you.
But yeah, real quick, I just
Hey,
like,
Slugterra
I know-
had a zombies episode.
Yes, Gordon?
I was going to suggest a fucked up method of taking care of zombies.
Yes.
You ever see a slaughterhouse where they with the gun?
Yeah, the stun
Why-
bullets.
God.
Literally, I think like if you were to try to fun if like there were like, you know, group survivors or whatever, you could they honestly if they wanted to like try to figure out a way to like rig a slaughterhouse where like, hey, this is like the most obvious method of entry and just setting that like those kind of contraptions up. I think that honestly
That's the thing, is it's like, if it's just a person who is infected, then you can just kill them in a normal person way.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, honestly, if they're like still human enough, then it probably hasn't consumed their brain. They don't really have a method of like spreading it yet.
Now
Well, no,
consider,
other-
my friends.
What I
The
mean
humble-
is, if it is like simply just, yeah, it takes over their brain, if it, like, it does kind of still, your body still has to rely on everything else to actually function. So, you could just kill them like the normal human way of, the heart,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
or just stopping them from blood getting to their brain.
Yeah.
Also, consider my friends, the humble synaptic disintegrator from Warhammer 40,000. This is this is a Necron weapon. It is a sniper rifle that shoots a beam that literally like disintegrates the target's nerves from the inside.
I would like this to be a low sci-fi zombie, if possible.
This was jokes.
Yeah.
This
No,
was
yeah.
Ronnie has found the excuse to talk about Warhammer.
I see.
What are you
I see.
talking about? Warhammer is real.
Because, like,
God.
if it
Okay.
is just
fuck.
simply infecting
right
you
back.
and it's not actively changing the way your body works, then your body still kind of needs blood and oxygen to, like, move.
Mhm.
This is true.
Fair enough.
What, you know, even if after taking over, the virus doesn't care if you, like, need to eat. It's probably fine with, you know, you dying as long as it can spread before you die
Mhm.
of starvation. Your body would still, like, there would still need to be blood pumping to the muscles for them to actually function.
Mhm.
So it's like, you could technically kill them anyway. You don't need to aim for the head. In fact, the head is probably the worst place you could go for in this instance.
Exactly my point.
Yeah. So
Also, I
like,
do have one thing I want to say about Gordon's idea. I think it's a really good idea. However, those bolt guns, they are point blank range only. You have to
I
have
know,
it up
that's-
against their head.
Mhm.
that's why one of the things I wanted to suggest was because you know they usually have the cows going into like a dark room before they shoot shoot them in the head.
Mhm.
Something like that where you have someone in protective gear, you know, taking care of the zombies like that. In the sense of the second their heads pop out, it's just like immediate before they can
No, I
even
think, like, that's the thing I feel like I need to see more of. It's just, I mean, one, hey, if you're in fucking armor, you're less likely to get bit. But also, I like the idea of a combination of, like, effectively, like, heavy armor mixed with, like, a hazmat suit.
Yes.
yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
like-
bites should be like the primary infection mode though. Like,
But
I
still,
am-
you want armor to make sure that thing can't infect you,
yes.
no matter
yeah.
what.
But yeah, I do think the idea of like instead of like having the bite be like the main source, it could just be like, you know, because hello, I'm basing this off of my fucking allergies. A scratch, any method of like breaking the skin that it can
Yes.
manage, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a virus. Any way it can get in, it's going. Because that's
Like,
the other
'cause-
thing.
I was simply going to suggest that like, oh,
I'm
if it is
back.
like, hello,
Welcome back.
if like it is like an airborne virus or whatever type, it could just be the sense of like, hey, this just spreads a fuck ton quicker if it's in your bloodstream.
Yeah, and that's the
Yes.
thing to consider is like if we are talking about this specifically as like zombies in a narrative, like your characters presumably are going to be encountering them quite often because that is what makes it interesting, and so fighting is like obviously the aerial threat does not like cease to exist, but like in terms of an immediate threat, the like biting or skin breaking, like scratching, is going to be what your most immediate concern is going to be.
This thing is going to attack you, and it is going to try to attack you in a way to infect you.
Yeah.
So there's one thing in the Left 4 Dead zombies that I really, really like that I want to take part of in this is like, those are just humans that brains completely gone, but they're
Bad.
still straight up humans. They will make very human sounds.
Oh, that I don't know why that just reminds me of like the head crab zombies, in that the noises they make are actually just like full human sentences, just in reverse.
Same guy did the audio for both of them, as
Awesome.
far as I remember.
That'll do it.
Like I love the concept of like, hey, the zombie can communicate to some degree, but humans like haven't been able to decipher it, so they don't know that it's trying to speak to them.
Or not
Either
in any way
that
that's
or that
meaningful.
one Tumblr post I saw where it's like, they are making sounds. They are sounding like human speech. They are not talking. They are
Oh
muscle memory screaming and saying words.
God, that's horrifying.
Because
That's
a lot of
really
the
good.
Isn't
things with
That's
it?
the head
horrifying.
crabs is the head crab only goes through the brain.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The
nothing
rest
else.
of the head is still in there.
Yeah, the human's still in there. Like, they just can't do anything. They're being puppeteered.
They are
Literally.
being puppeteered while being devoured.
Like the only thing worse than being a zombie is knowing you are a zombie. Cause like you don't get like the release of like knowing that you are dead. You know, like no, you died, but you're still conscious.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
worse.
I feel like the idea would be, you would either be conscious or you would have the feeling of being effectively in a coma.
Yeah.
Which is one thing
Assuming,
that rabies can do.
Mhm.
assuming, yeah, I was gonna say, like, assuming that with the virus you are still experiencing like brain activity, and it's not
Yeah.
just controlling your muscles.
I haven't been saying much just because I've been, I don't know, I just haven't thought of anything I hadn't wanted to say.
That's
It's cool.
fine. This is mostly me being autistic about zombies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't
Valid
And I
talked
don't
shit.
much
think
because y'all are my background noise while I play Minecraft.
Oh, hell yeah.
Awesome.
I haven't
I
actually finished reading it yet, but another good piece of zombie media is The Last Girl Scout by Natalie Ironside.
I bought that. I still need to read it.
That's a really hard ass name.
Yeah.
Yeah, she picked it herself.
Cool.
Nice.
But
one
yeah, The
one
Last
piece
Girl
of
Scout is very much a post-apocalypse zombie world. But the way the zombies work is, I think, technically closer to like a Resi zombie. Given that there is also like fucking Wesker type guys who are vampires.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Um,
one zombie
but it
thing
is,
I
but it is very much about like, again, of like, yeah, sure, if you're in your actual settlement away from where there's zombies, you're fine as long as you have people who can keep them away. But like, I think that's the other interesting thing about zombies is, especially because it's like, if it's just in, because there are some aspects of zombies that I feel like, for example, how do they react to noise, and why do they react to noise? You know?
Yeah. Jess was gonna say something. I would like to hear.
I was gonna recommend a film I really like, which is my girlfriend recommended got me to watch this. It's Savage Land, absolutely one of my favorite zombie movies.
I don't think I've heard of that one. I'll have
It's
to
a
watch that.
let me please I got
There's a bit in Doro Hodoro, which this isn't necessarily more about like the way it does zombies, just more so the way, like, the fun little bit of world building there is around them. So in Doro Hodoro, there's the human world of Hole, where sorcerers come to practice their magic, and because of the basically the rough of the magic smoke, rain basically can do some wacky things. And so every year there's one night where the concentration is so strong that the dead come back to life, and so they enlist the help of just people living in the hole to help control them. And what they do is, whenever somebody dies, they will bury like a little tag on them. And so on the night of the, I forget what they call it,
yeah, I can't
but
remember
on that night, like, whenever you kill a zombie, you get to collect them and exchange them for prizes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Because
Cool.
Yeah, Dora
Read
rules.
Doro Hedoro, please.
Yeah,
I really like that. That's
Genuinely, Dora Hedoro is like one of the best manga I've ever read.
It's
Uh,
so good.
But also,
I-
I linked Savage Land.
Thank you.
Yeah. Something that I
At
always
least
think is
the wiki
interesting.
page. It's on Tubi.
Yeah. Is like stories or worlds where the horror is so frequent that they decide, fuck it, let's make a festival around it.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
humans
And what
do.
And one of my favorite details about Alan Wake is that that's what Deerfest is.
I fucking love that.
Yay!
Now, of course,
Alan Wake is good.
the whole thing with, because the thing about Alan Wake, especially about, fuck, I always forget what the actual town is called.
Not Twin Peaks.
Not
Silent
Twin
Hill.
Peaks and not Night Springs. That's the fictional town that exists in universe. But the thing about the town in Alan Wake is that they are right next to a lake. That is a fucked up supernatural point of power that makes like, stories and shit come to life, and especially in the case of, the direct storyline of Alan Wake, there is a certain there's a certain time of the year where it is at its strongest.
I looked
Wow,
it up.
I-
Is it called? I looked it up. Is it called Bright Falls?
Bright Falls.
That
Yeah,
sounds right,
that's
yeah.
the
Wow, I sure
Uh,
hope that isn't the time of year that Alan Wake takes place.
Well, you see,
I'm going to start
Uh,
hitting you with hammers again if we continue on Alan Wake.
no,
I
no,
love
no. I'm
it,
talking
but-
about like the concept about kind of the stuff we're going on about like
Yeah.
one
I'm
of
just
the
trying
interesting
to make sure we don't go
about
too
Deer-
far off the rails.
Yeah,
Bless you.
No. I'm sure.
I'm okay.
The thing is, Deerfest is around the time of year where the dark presence gets the strongest, and so it is heavily applied that Deerfest was created as a festival to deal with the aftermath of the horrors of, well, some fucked up shit happened. Let's have a festival.
Yep, that's what humans do. We see a
Let's
fucked
have a
up thing, and
festival.
we're like, well,
Calm down about it, which I think is also one of the interesting things that which again, that's kind of onto the same idea of like with Dorohedoro, where it's like, yeah, the dead come back to life every year. Let's make a festival about it where you get fun prizes for killing zombies.
Like it's just another thing on the laundry list of all the stuff wrong with Whole.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's the interesting thing is about like what you can do with a setting with zombies in it is how long have the zombies been a thing for? Is this recently after the outbreak, or is this a long time after the outbreak where it's like, well, a scary part of life, zombies are just part of life now.
I think I want to
Mhm.
try for more of the World War Z book, where it's the zombies happened, we figured out how to deal with the zombies, and now we're living in the aftermath and telling the stories about surviving the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
like,
That's another thing I really. That's
The World War Z
another
book
like,
is
setting
fucking
type
good.
thing. Yeah, I think you'd. Oh, excuse me. I think you'd really like Last Girl Scout, Josh.
I know I'd like it. I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet.
Hey, Josh. Why is there a snail on the board? Is that the snail
Somebody
that
was
kills you?
talking about slugs, and I wanted to draw a snail. The snail's going away
The
now.
slug.
Goodbye.
Can I?
I guess that does get on to another
No!
point of this chart.
I was
Is it
gonna
a slow
suggest-
zombie or is it a fast zombie?
Well, because there's also have y'all heard of the like zombie snails?
Those are a cordyceps one,
That sounds
right?
familiar.
Or not
maybe- it's
cordyceps, but
basi-
definitely a parasite that like
Yeah,
Yeah.
lives in
Yeah.
it's a. If you're talking about the ones that affect like the sea snails and stuff, that is a type of parasitic worm.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah, the ones with like the stripes and like the multiple colors that you can see because it's the fucking worms moving around in its body.
Mhm.
Ooh.
That's a
Horrifying.
special type of
Also-
body horror.
Yeah.
Don't look that one up, like unless you're
I-
prepared for it, because
It
it's
looks
so much
pretty
worse.
fucking cool is the problem.
That
Yeah,
is
I mean, you see that just in
Cool.
general with a lot of sea life is there's a lot of parasitic worms.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In fact,
Worm.
parasitic worms are extremely common. Which now I'm imagining a type of zombie that specifically tries to get you to eat it.
I mean,
That would be a
so
very
I
fun
wasn't.
one, but
That's what I was gonna say.
Dungeon meshy ass monster.
I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking about the seed snails. I was thinking about, like, I remember it was sometime in my like middle school science class. Our teacher, she showed us this one of just like regular snails, but basically like the main way that it was like transmitted was through like bird droppings, and basically it would like the scary thing was that these things would go specifically into the snail's like eye stalks.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one we're
and
talking
so
about.
and they would basically make them go up high to get the birds to eat them, so that then they could be transmitted elsewhere.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
boy.
that's in general.
Uh,
Yep, that's a big thing with parasitic worms is that they will specifically get the creature to. They will either, you either find them a lot in prey animals, or they will specifically infect something in a way that makes it try to die or try to get eaten. That's also how like cordyceps work. Is it? Is it?
Cordyceps will make the ants go to the top of the forest, so
Is that-
climbing up all the rainforest trees and stuff, so that they can have a really nice high vantage point for them to release their spores, and that's the entire point of the like possessing ants is just so the mushrooms can get up.
scary.
Nature's
It's-
scary.
Like I think
Yeah,
the
it's-
idea of
it's,
like a
it's a way of,
zombie
like-
that attacks you by like trying to stick its arm down your throat so you like
Huh.
eat a chunk
Oh.
of it.
Okay.
I think
um,
we're gonna pass
building
on
off-
that one for this specific one, but Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
the thing I was
That
like one thing I
rules.
wanted to suggest, or like not suggest, but like get the opinion on. Okay, with the idea that you're pitched for like your zombie thing here, would this be something that is exclusively affecting humans, or would this be
yeah.
something that would be hopping species?
Is it zoonotic?
Well,
Well, the thing with that is it would definitely make it spread faster if it was multi-species, but I'm not sure yet.
Well,
That's
the thing
totally
about
valid.
zoonotic diseases is that there's not a whole ton of them.
Yeah,
Especially when you get to
Yeah.
parasites and stuff. Parasites especially really like to have a specific organism that they like to live in.
yeah, like there's a
Yeah, 'cause
species
they-
of parasite that will only attack cod and will only live in their gills.
Yeah,
Yes.
like there is a species of lice for pretty much every mammal on Earth.
yeah, because
Lice are specialized to live on one specific species each, and they don't like living on a species that's not their specific one.
yeah, because the
On the sorry, this is still kind of good because I'm still thinking about fucking parasitic worms and how interesting they are.
Josh, not Josh. Sorry, Jess. What were you trying to say?
what is I was just saying that, like, yeah, typically diseases will be like, or like things will evolve like with a species. It's usually like so they're usually specialized for it.
Because what I was gonna say is something interesting is like, for example, how do cats get worms? For example, well, they get worms because they accidentally eat the fleas when they're cleaning themselves. It's the fleas that have the worm in them. So the fleas, so it's the worms that infect a flea, which then goes onto an animal that then the animal eats when it's cleaning itself, which then the worm transfers from the flea to the animal. It's
Yeah, the thing with parasites is they will often have multiple life stages which are specific to a specific creature.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not making
which
a
is why
parasite.
you need to fucking
Yeah.
give your cats flea medicine if they go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't let your cats go outside.
Yeah.
That's the
even
other
better.
thing.
Uh,
Don't let your
One
cats go
stone.
outside.
But I
But that's
mostly
also why, again, if it's an animal that grooms itself, make sure you regularly give it flea treatments.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I ask, I realize now that it wasn't. God, I immediately forgot the word that Stormy just said. Damn it.
Zoonotic.
Zoonotic. Thank you. I think I'm like. Well, yeah, no, obviously, like zoonotic stuff and everything. Like, that's sick as hell. I think a better question I should have asked was, when this is like when this virus first starts breaking out, do you think it would be a case of it was man-made, like something that well, first I should ask, do you think this is something that would be like naturally occurring, or that just happened to like be in the wrong place at the wrong time, or do you think this was like man-made?
I think this is definitely not man-made. But I'm
Okay.
thinking maybe it should be like a species jump from something that pigs have. Because pigs are very similar genetically to humans.
Because I was going to bring up the idea of like, because like, ticks are like really good carriers of disease. It wouldn't be like impossible to imagine like ticks getting on to pigs and then like, shit fucking up.
There is actually a real life zoonotic parasite that pigs can get that they can spread to humans.
Really?
I don't know the details. There's a really good
Was it-
Sawbones episode about it that I watched like years and years ago.
I love Sawbones. I will look this up while you talk.
And it's basically like worms that create like little cysts in the muscle tissue. And they're not like super like, they don't like ruin your body or anything. They're just really painful because they form these hard little cysts in your muscle tissue.
And they are one of the reasons why you do not eat pork raw or rare.
Yeah,
Or anything but
okay.
well done.
I think it's lindworm, right?
Yeah, I looked it up. It's called the Ascaris suum.
Oh.
Yep, that's the one.
Fuck.
I
And then
will look it up and send it.
Also, I would like to recommend this podcast. This one's a good epidemiology podcast. This podcast will kill you. Sorry.
That is a good podcast.
I feel like if you wanted to take something like that as a, as like a thing for zombies, because I think that's the other thing is you could do like, I'm imagining a zombie that is a hive mind of parasitic worms.
Yay.
Again,
that
we are
work
moving
together.
away from the parasites because they give me the ick.
Oh, no, I'm
Yeah.
talking about a concept of the thing we are just now talking about of the ticks. Of the idea of something that works in parallel with itself to control your body all throughout. Instead of targeting the brain, there is instead multiple of them targeting all of your muscles that like work in parallel with each other.
Like,
I
because ticks
see.
just want to drain blood, so like it naturally doesn't care where it bites you.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, no, we can move away from like the whole concept of parasites. I
Yeah.
was just simply curious.
I'm scribbling it out.
No,
No
you're
more
smart to do
parasites.
that. Like, no. You do this for you, buddy. You remove that shit of it. Just erase it.
Hi, it's
Like,
the
dead
hard
ass, you
thing
just
of
erase it.
oh you want
It's
you
your
want
place.
you want a good thing for cool horror inspiration? Just look at what exists in real life.
Like, yes,
Yeah.
and I don't mind taking a little
It's
bit of
not-
inspiration from it, but it is starting to give me the super ick.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I get
fair.
it. I
Just
get it.
let's just focus exclusively on the idea of viruses or like bacteria and magic.
It can
Which,
have
like,
a little bit
both-
of it has to be a good story type magic, but
Yeah.
also maybe,
Yeah, like-
Again,
maybe not.
Again, there's
quite so
also
much
the
that.
idea of how does it affect the body? Do
Mhm.
they just look like normal humans, or is it affecting the body in some way aside from just taking
Well, we
over
did
it?
clarify that Josh didn't want to do too much mutation.
Yeah, definitely
Well, I still
sticking
feel
more
like
to
there's-
the like rabies type or like
Well, 'cause I still feel like there's ways you can get into that without going, yep, it's mutating you, and more of like,
Honestly, I think
because I feel like a lot of that goes into what basically I'm trying to ask. What would say a zombie of this type look like effectively?
definitely just a human. Definitely because I do want to hit like closer to infected than undead. Like this is just a dude who is behaving oddly. Like if you've ever seen a video of a rabid animal or anything with distemper, like-
or like
So, like-
wastings.
yeah, chronic wasting
Yeah.
disease is one of the biggest inspirations for like things I like to see in zombies for sure.
Yeah,
Prion
of,
disease.
Prions are
Prion
fascinating.
disease.
Well, the thing with prions, though, is if you're not genetically predisposed to having fucked up
Yeah.
prions, they do fuck all to you.
Really?
Yeah, because they.
That's
yeah,
what I
because
heard.
they're because they're a. Oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
Because they're a misfolded protein, not a
Yeah.
actual, not like a most age. Like they're not like in. They are an infected agent, but like they're literally
They're
it's like you if you're infected with it, it's mostly that the protein that like the prion protein gets misfolded in your body.
yeah.
Uh,
So I know that. Yeah, prions are really cool as a thing.
I I would like, because you have mentioned Prion, legally I have to submit to the board the concept of a patient zero of just some guy sipping on a drink that wasn't his in the form of the Prion disease milkshake comic.
Tastes like prion disease.
I just sent it for anyone who might not have seen it before.
And
Oh
the great
baby, I
circle of
know
life
tastes like
goes
prion
on.
disease.
It's so funny because that's not how prion disease works at all, but
It
it's
really
also
is.
very funny comic.
But yeah,
One of my favorite
Another
images
thing
of all time.
I think to consider is what is the lifespan of your zombos? Because I know that at least what is, I remember watching one of the a film theory video like talking about like because like I don't know exactly how the Walking Dead zombies work. Like I know it's some kind of like infection, but I don't know if they're like literally undead or similar to what we've
It
talked about.
it is specifically reanimating a corpse.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The
Because
Walking Dead
yeah,
are corpses.
yeah,
So the
because
thing with The Walking Dead is that literally everyone is infected. It just doesn't take effect till you die.
Mhm.
I see.
Which is also
Anyway.
a
So it
fun way
is-
to do it.
It is directly it is directly reanimating corpses. Like again, when a zombie bites you, it's not an issue of oh fuck I'm infected. It's an issue of oh fuck I'm dying. And I think it is something about like the way the zombies bite is that you basically died of you died of normal diseases. You're not dying of a
see.
zombie disease.
But anyway, so but the point that I was getting at was the like film theory video was basically like as the series goes on, like the zombies look like more and more like decaying, and so the theory is that basically like at a certain point it will get to the point where like zombies just kind of can't really function anymore and start to fall apart. So that's something to consider too, is with what we've established is like they're not corpses, these are people. So like is it will a victim of the infection in theory like have a lifespan similar to a human, or is there something about it that like specifically causes the body to degrade faster?
Again, going back to the Left 4 Dead zombies. This is just a human. They still have to eat. They still have to drink. However, I do think that maybe this virus like drives them to be so ravenous they will eat anything that they deem edible, including each other, including people, including any animals they can find.
Because if the host dies, then the virus can no longer spread itself.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's also the fun of well, luckily, if it goes to try and eat something, it'll spread the virus to the thing it's trying to eat.
Yeah, if it's unsuccessful at hunting, virus spread. If it's successful at hunting, continues to live so it can spread virus more.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because like again we've specifically said it's like that it's still alive, and so I feel like that the whole like oh it will eat other zombies thing works too, because like you'll see like in a lot of zombie media they won't really attack each other, and I feel like I'm sure in some places, but other times it's not necessarily expanded upon. But it's like it's sure it's some kind of like oh they like specifically somehow are able to like through some sort of sense of theirs like determine whether something is alive or not. But given that like we've established like this thing is still like alive, just being controlled by virus, then unless there's like the hive mind thing that Katie proposed, there's like well because that was more localized, but anyway there's in theory nothing necessarily stopping the infected host from being like hey this thing is another infected thing. It's just like ooh yummy.
Might I suggest something that would actually uh make sense for the whole like why zombies don't go after zombies thing?
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's because like we just like humans just naturally have it like ingrained in our brain that like if we see something decaying, we don't want to eat it. We don't want to go near it. We naturally
Ooh.
do not want to be associated with death, which is like why I also wanted to suggest the idea of zombies can travel in hordes, but what if it was more likely for them to split off into small groups, if not individual, so that it's easier for them to like sneak into places if they're not like if you can't see like a big group of people coming, you might just not notice that there's like a
Well,
The
guy
idea
on
of
your front
zombies
lawn.
Zom
traveling in
yeah, zombie
zombies
pack
traveling in
tactics.
yeah, zombies traveling
Literally.
in packs rather than hordes. I mean, that would also make sense because a horde of zombies would be more likely to eat each other because there would be less humans in general or
Mhm.
things to eat in general. If we're assuming the idea of like, yeah, well infected, they are effectively in a, I guess, more quote unquote animalistic state of still of just like they are going to try and sustain
lucid.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's three things about humans that I think are like the human instincts. One is that we are a social species and we will seek out each other when we can. Another is that, like, just instinctually, if you hear something, if you see something move, you'll look at it.
Yeah.
Just, it's like reflexive. And the last one is that we are persistence predators. We will just walk
Hmm.
after something until it exhausts itself and can no longer run away.
Which is super fucked when like you bring in the concept of zombies not being able like their pain receptors being dulled or just not existing anymore after like they are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that just makes it a million times worse because like we're going on the idea of the virus is like they're not alive, the virus is just controlling like a shambling corpse for the most part,
Yeah, or like they're
which
still alive, but the virus has so thoroughly destroyed and changed their brains that, like, they don't have the same pain receptors. They don't have, like, the you need
Yeah.
to
The
stop,
only thing that would take a zombie out from running at you um, is if literally its lungs go out.
yeah.
or you take
Or
it out at the
it's.
legs.
Yeah.
And even then, it will still crawl after you.
Yeah. It is going to keep going after you, and if it is, like, running after you, then yeah, the only thing you could hope for is that it gets. Uh, it tears itself apart before you get exhausted.
Yeah, like oh god, shout out to the I
This
don't
thing
remember
isn't
what
gonna stop
show
running just because it starts getting winded.
like
Mhm.
I don't remember the name of the show, but
It's
like
going
there
to
was
keep running until its body physically stops working.
yeah, I don't remember. I think it might have been Walking Dead. I do not recall. But I do remember there being a scene from like some type of zombie media where someone thought that like they had made some good distance away from like several zombies, but they didn't notice that there was one on the ground who had lost like everything from the waist down. So they were crawling like across a lawn with their organs like falling out, and like they only gave up once like the majority of like their liquids and their bits were just not part of their body
Yeah,
anymore.
once they'd lost enough of the blood that was still left that the brain stopped working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was one of the coolest scenes from that show.
awesome.
God, I still need to read that. I really love.
Yeah, because I think,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's the other thing is
I've
even with of
sorry.
like when it's an undead zombie, is like, yeah, there are lots of. I mean, like, yeah, clearly you go for the brain because it's the fastest, because that's where it's actually infected. But it's like, you can very much keep a zombie alive as long as it still has blood pumping through it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like, these
okay.
Which
zombies
means
will
you.
die from blood loss if you get them anywhere else, but also they'll just keep coming after you until that happens.
Yeah.
God, okay. There is
Again,
like this.
if its lungs go out, well, the heart can no. If its lungs go out, then its heart can no longer pump oxygen. And basically the muscles will pump oxygen. Basically, again, the only way to outrun this, the closest thing this thing could get to exhausted is if it's literally its lungs stop working. Which is terrifying.
Horrifying thought. Slightly slower than the average human in walking, but does not get fatigued.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's again, that's
Oh.
assuming it's running. Which, if the let's say the way the virus works is that it effectively means no, the body doesn't stress itself out, so that way it can keep going.
It
Mhm.
Okay.
just keeps coming, no matter how long and how far you travel away from it. It will continue.
And
to
I
look
mean, that's
after
the
you.
other idea, is it
It's
being
the snail. It's the immortal snail.
Yeah,
the idea of like
bringing
the
back the
way it's
snail.
moving being less
Yeah.
shambling and more like it's just kind of moving sluggishly.
Yeah, which one
Which
thing I do.
I guess would add to it, like the idea of these things are moving almost like I like again. I imagine from the outside, it would just kind of imagining it move the way it looks like from the outside is just kind of a person in a trance.
One thing I've been wanting to bring up for a little bit now, because I've been looking at like the idea of like, oh, is this a fast zombie or is this a slow zombie, you know?
Mhm.
And the thing I wanted to bring up for your consideration is, you know how like just people naturally have like different walking and running speeds?
Mhm.
What if like you'd have people who were just naturally like, like when they die, like they were pretty lethargic in life, so like, their dead forms or like, their zombified state reflects that, so like they tend to like go at a slower pace, but like, they still don't have to worry about stamina anymore, but it's just they naturally weren't, like they just weren't very fast when they died already.
I
But
I think
then you could
I th-
have, but
sorry.
it's okay. But the other thing I want to like, if that's the case, then what about people who like, jog a mile every day? What about professional runners? Would that would those traits, like, because they are still part of the body, could the virus in theory, like without like going with the idea of like there is no stamina for a zombie, like they just don't have to worry about that, couldn't could people who were runners in life just naturally be very, very fast zombies?
Well,
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. And well,
well,
because also
here's the thing.
given that we are like specifically operating off the idea of like this is like the person again, they are still alive, just again they like the parasite has,
They're
well,
just
not parasite,
infected.
yeah, infected, that's yeah, it's yeah, but like the infection has like completely basically taken over their like awareness and
Pathogen.
motor control. Like that doesn't mean that like that it necessarily entirely goes away, just that you're not behind the wheel anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
the
back, by the
Like,
way. I have a hot
which
dog.
that'd be the
welcome
interesting
back.
thing is also the people who are like the idea of someone who is like say someone who's a jogger who's been like training a good while then becomes infected, and then it's the question of if they like if as a zombie, like yes, they would be fast as long as then as a zombie they have as close to like at least in terms of like their nutrients and like how much are they eating as a zombie.
I
What are they
imagine a
eating?
lot of the fast zombies, unless they are really good hunters, would probably die out pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's more of a, they are a threat when they are newly turned because they still have like the ability to like move very quickly,
because the
but
idea
yeah,
would
like
be
they wouldn't
that like
last long.
yeah that slowly your slowly your muscle mass would deteriorate. So I imagine the lifespan of of like a zombie like this is pretty much just, well, how long can a human go before they like starve to death effectively.
Yeah, unless they're like really good at getting food, getting water, they are not surviving very long. I'd
Yeah,
say
cuz
the
like,
average zombie is probably going to go out within a month or two. It's just the
And I
ones
mean,
that are like slow, methodical, really good at
and
eating
I think,
things that would not.
and I do kind of like the idea of like the parasite effect, or not parasite, whatever the infection
Pathogen.
pathogen. Thank you. I'm thinking of p words. the pathogen pretty much, like, let's say it does have some kind of panic mode of, oh fuck, the host is dying, take off the limits, get something to eat now.
Yes.
Like,
Of it doesn't of this of like if the host is starving, it won't just walk towards you, it will run towards you. This body is dying, it needs sustenance, it will run at you until it falls apart. Until it either falls apart or eats you.
Yes.
Which I think is
God.
very scary, of which would also make areas where there's not a lot of people much more dangerous, because it would mean there is much more dangerous zombies and much more, I guess, quote unquote desperate zombies.
It would also mean that there's probably definitely going to be like more zombies tearing each other apart in those areas.
Yeah. Which I
That would
imagine
also,
wouldn't have as much nutrients as someone who's still alive, which would mean, hey, if it's an area where there is still a sizable swarm because they haven't all killed each other yet, you going in
it's
there, congratulations, you're the new target.
Congratulations, you have just
different.
delivered yourself on a silver platter.
You have just delivered yourself to a bunch of desperate zombies that have their limits effectively taken off.
Uber Eats, but it's
Congrats.
you.
Yeah, congrats. They have been surviving off expired canned food for like weeks now, and you have just given them a roast chicken.
You are a deep dish pizza on the doorstep of stoned college students.
You will die. I'm imagining the concept of like this quote unquote zombie towns, like, you know, smaller like remote communities where it's like they were able to like make their own food, have their own animals kind of thing. So it's like you got someone who's like, you know, wandering around trying to find a place that isn't overrun, and they're like, oh, this place is remote enough, but like one guy fucked it all up, and now you're essentially like alone in this fucking area because there's not really much of a way out because there's like nothing in every direction.
Yeah, like the idea of going into a town and just seeing a bunch of ripped apart corpses.
Uh,
Someone got infected and they kind of just kept eating each other till there was nothing left. It's where the last one just kind of died. So it's like, yeah, you're in an area where there's no zombies, but it's because the zombies ate each other.
Which means there's
Okay,
absolutely no
I-
other food around.
I'm going to bring up one thing. I'm sorry, it is like kind of it's disgusting in nature, but I feel like it's the only good example I can like give of this. But technically in like a dire survival like situation, like you're going to die of dehydration, technically you can digest your own urine at least once before it becomes toxic. I'm imagining when these zombies eat each other and like it become and like one, let's say one zombie eats another, okay? And that first zombie is like, you know, full, but it still has all of like the pathogens in it. And then that zombie gets eaten by another, so it's getting the more condensed like more pathogens in it, to the point of you have one zombie that is essentially dripping with the virus.
Well,
Like,
something that I feel like would kind of what I would imagine the way this virus would work is that it would have to effectively trick your body's immune system into thinking, yep, this is okay, this is fine, I'm normal, you love me. So that way the immune system, because here's the thing, if it's a virus that, you know, would try to make sure its host doesn't die, I imagine it would evolve over time to make sure it hijacks the immune system rather than just kind of turning it off.
this is the equivalent of having 3 antivirus on your computer.
Yep,
They were all fighting each other.
because that'd be the issue, right? Like, if it just turns off your immune system and, you know, you're getting into all these yucky places, your body would just, some other virus could just kill your body.
Yeah, much like HIV does.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have to basically, for this virus to actually function and to keep you as alive as long as possible, it would pretty much have to make sure your immune system still works while ignoring it.
Uh-huh.
Also,
Scary.
not to backpedal, but Katie describing the idea of like a town where basically all the zombies like kill each other gave me an awesome idea for a battle royale.
That actually does sound very
God.
fun. You are
It's
a
the
zombie.
reverse of the
Survive.
original idea. It's the reverse. Actually, I don't remember what the actual original.
Reverse Dead by Daylight, imagine it.
Yeah, no, I was talking about like the original Fortnite idea, but I don't
Oh,
actually remember
yeah.
what it
Like-
was.
Battleground.
Like a crossover between a battle royale game mode and an infection game mode.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
But even when you're infected, you're still trying to fight your other fellow infected.
It just means we
Yeah.
have more targets now.
zombie extraction shooter, but instead of it being like, oh yeah, the enemies are zombies, you're a zombie.
God,
Left 4 Dead
like
versus mode. Extra. Extra zombie.
Yeah, I gotta go.
See ya.
So I will be back. But feel free to
Oh.
keep discussing the zombies until I return.
Yeah, see you later.
I'm also
just-
I'm gonna get stuff together for I'm gonna paint some minis.
Oh, hell yeah.
infinite minis. She never
Sure.
runs out.
She
Stormy.
never stops painting.
Stormy, were you saying something?
If she's
I thought I heard Stormy say something.
Huh?
no,
No, I didn't.
Okay.
If-
Problem
if-
solved.
if Ronnie stops painting, she dies.
I would be dead already.
Yes, but it's still in your brain, isn't it?
I will go through bouts of painting, then go on a bit of a drought until I get the bug again.
I see.
God, just makes me think of freaking the zombie stories where it's like, oh, they will still like
Be right back.
Okay.
at least mimic the things that they used to do in life. Just finding me a zombified, hunched over my desk, continuing to paint minis.
God.
All motor control is gone now. They're just
It's
Muscle
pretty
memory will take you
dire.
to the mall.
yeah.
You have like a long since
Mhm.
dried brush that has like no pigment on it, but you're still going.
Mm-hmm. Who knows what it is I'm using to paint with anymore? It's not paint.
Ugh.
Ooh.
It's like,
The-
wow, Ronnie,
the
you've been using a
sludge.
lot of red in your pieces, a lot of red and black and brown, and he just like,
Uh-huh. The
uh-huh.
sludge.
Awful.
We should do a movie night at some point of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
I may or may not be there because I don't like zombie stuff. It's yucky.
No, that is perfectly fine. I'm just... The idea is they are rotating.
Yeah.
I need to let them escape somehow.
Yeah. Shaun of the Dead is a very good film that I don't want to ever watch again.
Oh, Shaun
That's
of the
fair.
Dead is. I will agree, that one is good.
Yeah. It's a good little funny movie. But also, I'm saying Dawn of the
It's-
Dead, as in D-A-W-N.
I know. I know. I'm talking about a different one that I have seen.
Okay.
It's you say it's funny to a point. It is funny to a point, and then it's just really depressing.
Just think about the scene in the bar where they're all beating that guy in unison.
Yeah, and then there's the scene where he has to shoot his mom.
And the scene in the back of the car.
Spoilers for Shaun of the Dead, by the way.
And the scene at the very end where zombies are just cart boys now.
Yeah, and like he's still hanging out with his best friend and playing video games.
Yeah.
I think
Oh.
that part was actually really sick. I like that part a lot.
Yeah.
That even though he lost his best friend, he's not totally gone.
Yeah, he's still chilling.
No-
About-
He can hold a controller.
Insert joke of bad gamer.
Oh,
As if
Force
that wasn't what
says,
he was doing already.
If I was a zombie, I'd be a bacterial one and turn you on to plushies.
I-
Thanks.
that.
I have faith in my wife to do this.
Yeah, they could do
I
this.
think they would just
Okay.
do this in real life.
Definitely not zombie, but allowed.
It's like that. I remember seeing it was like a manga where it's like it's basically like a zombie story, but instead it's cats, and if you like pet one, you turn into a cat.
Hell yeah.
Oh, dream life.
Yeah.
I think I I feel like that's the actual plot of like a manga I've heard about. If I'm correct,
I'm pretty sure it is a manga.
I'm gonna look. I'm almost certain I've heard someone explain that exact manga to me. Like, not you, but like,
Well,
I
she
will
did
look
start
that
the
up. This
sentence
is
with "There was a manga I saw," where.
okay. I didn't hear that part. My bad.
That's fine. Now you have heard it.
I love Google search.
Google search, wonderful.
Oh,
wonderful place.
Google. This is not exact. This is not at all what I was looking for.
Oh,
no.
what were you looking for?
Nope, nope, nope. I was trying to find the manga that Ronnie was talking about. I have not found that. Don't look this up.
Were you
Okay,
looking up
smile.
Pole?
No. At least he wasn't trying to.
What did you search?
Manga where you pet a cat and turn into one.
Oh,
Hmm.
Google has failed me.
Word. Fall into the curse.
I found a lot of ASMR that I don't want to click on.
Ugh.
Ah, I see. It's one of those Google searches.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that ASMR is a trend that I can never avoid it, and it's everywhere and always, and it makes me want to explode.
I love when people make ASMR and for the thumbnail they use stolen Ensemble Stars fan art. It's funny every time.
is it Ensemble Stars ASMR or
No,
No.
they just Googled anime boy pictures and what they found was Ensemble Stars. It happens a lot.
Bayonetta explains to you her very complicated Applebee's to go order.
Okay, that one can
Okay,
stay. That one is funny.
Yeah. Super Mario breaks into your house and kills you.
Yep.
That's my favorite. But yeah, where are we all at? Like, Josh, notes wise, where are we at?
I'm
with
personally
the-
a big
the
fan of
zombos?
Dobby Boyfriend hits you with a pan.
Apparently a VTuber I watch sometimes did make an ASMR of your boyfriend tries to make you breakfast and sets the house on fire.
Great.
That's wonderful. I love that.
Shout
Stormy,
out to
which new carnival character would that be?
Edmund.
Awesome.
Canonically can't cook.
Pog.
Hell yeah.
I think I've covered just about everything I was thinking of when we started the stream, except for maybe the symptoms of the virus, other than just turning you into rabbit eats your neighbors.
well, that's what I was kind of asking about earlier.
Yeah,
about,
but then we
like-
got distracted.
About like what does it actually do to your body?
You probably don't feel very good. I can't
And
imagine it's an enjoyable experience.
And I think it got assumed I was talking about like literally like, oh, it gives you claws or whatever. And I was saying more about like, yeah, is there any like noticeable side effects pretty much of its effect on your body?
Okay,
aside
yeah.
from like wasting away.
Yeah, no, sorry, I did misunderstand you earlier. I think
Basically, are there any
primarily-
tells?
I think primarily like maybe
Hello
early
again.
infection, like before you're fully turned, would be kind of dementia like. Like you stop
Mm.
remembering things, you stop being able to use your long-term memory.
Hello again.
It's scary.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of the issues would be basically things that have to do with your brain or your nerves, which would probably also be slowly losing access to your like motor, your fine motor skills or motor control.
Yeah.
Isn't there like some type, I'm not sure if it's like a disease or just like a mental condition where you just don't feel pain, like any pain in like
Yeah,
your
like
hands or whatever?
some kind of nervous condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't remember
Oh.
what that's called, but it definitely
I
exists.
think the issue, the main thing of, I guess, of the way this would work, it'd be less that you don't feel it and more of you're not in control of your body, and the thing that is in control of your body does not care.
I want to
Oh.
backpedal that. No,
That-
it's definitely more of like you stop being able to feel things.
Okay.
Like it's not
Yeah.
a control. It's not a parasite. It's not a anything like that. It's a the virus changes the way you think type.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
Alrighty.
that's why I was like trying to go more with the like, well, what are natural human instincts and things that humans do without
Yeah.
thinking and that sort.
Mhm.
Zombie disease making
So
you,
yeah, you know,
making you grab.
just normally, you know, you're hungry, and the more hungry you are, the more desperate you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more
That's
likely you are
what-
to bite Jim.
Fuck you, Jim.
Fuck you specifically, Jim.
Idea
Talking about
of,
snapping
like,
into a Slim Jim, am I right, fellas?
Thank you for
gosh.
taking the easy joke that I didn't think of
Got
that.
to open a boy with the cold ones.
Yep.
Mhm.
This is kind of interesting. I think the idea of, I mean, definitely, like, I feel like a good, easy, like, symptom that you would experience while you're being infected would kind of be, well, at first your body is going to try to fight the disease, so I would imagine, say,
Mhm.
your body is going to try to pull all the stops to kill that
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
Fever.
Which I imagine, like, an easy first one would obviously be very high fever.
Yep.
Yeah, like high fever, lethargy, then eventually, like, your fine motor skills go, your memory starts to go, you get more aggressive.
Even a scarier thing could be your body stops fighting it before it fully takes over you. So the idea would be your symptoms of feeling like sick would go away, and then a couple days later, then you would start feeling the other symptoms, the symptoms of the
Yes,
actual
yes,
disease itself.
That almost-
horrifying. Yes.
Scary.
Yeah, that, oh,
Like-
I'm gonna be real that like my brain immediately just went to like hypothermia.
Mhm. Like this thing has hijacked your immune system. So good news, you're no longer feeling sick. Bad news, this means you don't know if it actually killed it or not.
Awesome.
Scary.
Here, I'm gonna go do what I actually said I was gonna do 10 minutes ago and get all my stuff together to paint.
Also,
Okay.
I am back from what I was doing, and I was having a pizza.
Nice.
Wow.
Just something that I would imagine would make getting infected a lot scarier. Because yeah, there is a chance you could get out of this. You know, there's a chance your body could fight this off before it gets any worse.
And then there's also a chance that it was simply pretending it did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I also
It-
want to be a
it-
pizza zombie. I think I'm going to see if I can get a pizza for dinner.
Your nervous
Awesome.
system now your for the fucking me and the 5 minutes later, me and the besties.
God.
Because that is also a fun thing about how a lot of viruses work, is that they can do that. They can make your nervous system think. Basically, the idea of a virus functioning as almost an anti-vaccine.
Oh.
Either that, or it gives basically giving your immune system false flags where it thinks it's fought off the virus when it really hasn't.
I do really love the idea of like getting a false, like negative, you know,
Not to be too real about it, but COVID,
Yeah.
it does that.
literally.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, there is a new strain going around that gives you that like will make you feel like you have symptoms, but still give you a false negative. Please make sure to keep testing.
Also,
And
just
it is
wear a
a
fucking mask.
Yep, and it is also a variant that spreads a lot better and faster.
Mm-hmm.
Please, I don't want to die.
Yep.
And
I
you
will
don't
say
want long COVID.
it is, and that's the fun thing is if it's a newer variant, so it's still up in the air what its particular long term effects are. I say this as someone who's got it, who's had it in the past.
Please, please, please get vaccinated. Get your
Yep. Here's
wear
the
a
thing:
mask.
you can be vaccinated for it, you can still get the new variant.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
got
up
it
to
while I
date
was
on all
working
my
at my
shots,
job.
but I've also had COVID more than once before.
I am immunocompromised. I need to get a job. It's very difficult to do that when, like, everyone thinks I'm a weirdo for wearing masks.
And again, I was lucky that I got the variant that I, didn't get COVID until years later, where it was the variant that didn't affect the lungs as much. Being someone who is horribly asthmatic,
Yeah.
there's a good chance that basically what I'm saying is there's a good chance that if I got anything like, OG COVID or even fucking pneumonia, there is a good chance that could just straight up kill me.
Yeah.
I love being immunocompromised. I love having friends that are immunocompromised. Ah!
Grabbing
I
all of
love
my
being
friends and protecting
disabled.
them from viruses and diseases forever.
Thank
There's
you.
a-
Yay.
I
Which is
have
why-
good reason for wanting to only have an online job. Like, please.
Yep. This is kind of unrelated to the main topic of the stream, but it's also why I am so fucking pissed whenever people try to do no, but I shouldn't wear a mask. It makes it a bit hard to breathe when there's someone who just has normal lungs.
Yeah.
Because
If
it's like,
hard for
yeah,
you
every
to
time I
breathe,
put on a
you should
mask,
extra wear a mask because that means it will get you.
and it's like, especially someone who has really bad breathing problems, I was still wearing a mask all the time, even though it, literally felt like it was choking me.
Yeah, also, if I, a guy with normal but moderately weak lungs from inhaling black mold my entire childhood, can wear a mask and a fursuit head and a mask on the fursuit head, you could fucking wear a
Powerful.
single mask.
Josh is
Powerful.
stronger than any U.S. Marine.
Well,
Literally,
U.S. Marines are not bad.
Yeah.
It meme.
I know.
Yeah,
it's a meme.
I know this. I'm just being a.
But like,
I'm just being a.
oh
I
my
mean,
God.
hey, who a bunch of people who refuse to wear masks were?
Like, hey, it's not too hard to wear a mask. Like, please, 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 for the love of God, if you.
And I mean, hey, we can tie this back into zombies. Again,
Oh my
the
God,
idea
wait,
of
I have to go back.
people, the idea of people who are going out to either scavenge or just to go to another location, having to wear proper basically hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Especially given that, yeah, I imagine, especially if it is a virus that can spread through airborne, which I think is really interesting to consider. The idea of it can technically spread airborne, it's just very weak at doing that.
Yeah. It's not as effective, and unless you're right in the blast zone of when somebody gets popped, not likely. And even then, it's more likely that the bodily fluids will be getting you than the airborne stuff.
Which, I mean,
Yeah.
that is also the thing, is there are a lot of airborne viruses that, I mean, kind of spread through your spit, and that your spit does get airborne.
Like pneumonia
Mm-hmm.
and COVID.
Yep. So again, yeah, good job. You prevented yourself from getting bit. However, unfortunately, you weren't wearing the proper safety equipment, and unfortunately, the virus still found its way in you through the zombie spit and saliva.
Yeah.
And just, it being an airborne. Because that's the thing, technically, most things that spread through body fluids are a little bit airborne.
Yeah, simply by nature of droplets of liquids being suspended in the air pretty much everywhere at all times.
So it's yeah, you could avoid getting blood on you. You could avoid getting bitten or scratched. Unfortunately, You're still infected because you weren't wearing the proper safety equipment. And again, you don't know if you just have a cold. Your body is reacting like it's just a cold. You don't know. And then look, you stop being sick, so clearly you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then it begins.
And
Yeah.
then
That's how they get ya.
I would like to also add the idea of if you were to ever turn the virus into like a story or whatever, the idea of like literally one or two people being asymptomatic and then everyone thinking that's something that they are experiencing. And it's like, oh, I'm not sick. I went out and I scavenged and I killed and I was fine. I came back fine. But then like a week later, my daughter's trying to like fucking kill me because she's a zombie, and it's like, did you wear a mask? Did you clean your hands? Did you take care of yourself? No, fuck you. Become zombie.
Because that's the thing, if we're going from the angle of it's a virus, then yeah, you can very much still spread it, especially if it's the thing that spreads through body fluids, especially in that period where you don't know you're sick yet. You know, you could still spread it without being a zombie.
Yeah.
mhm.
I got a BRB.
Yeah, I'm absolutely using this for all zombie-based future endeavors.
Hell
Unless
yeah.
we come up with
Yay.
another one, also.
Yeah. It is as I said like at the beginning of the stream. It's one of those things where whenever then there's zombie media and then like the zombies like drooling all over the protagonist's face, I'm like,
You should be infected.
you're sick. It's the mucus, your mucous membranes.
I am once again thinking about World War Z, the movie, and getting angry about it.
Especially when it's something that goes, yeah, you get infected when you get bit, because that's where all the yucky saliva is.
Yeah, all the virus is in the saliva, but it only matters if you get bit. It doesn't matter if they're like licking
Only-
your face or whatever.
No, you see, it's a virus that only affects if it's in your bloodstream.
It also doesn't affect you if you're the protagonist, which is always invariably a badass
No, but you
white
see,
man.
No, but you see, when if something, you know, the only way your body accesses the bloodstream is if the only way something can enter your bloodstream is if you get a cut, obviously.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And if you amputate
No-
the limb, it'll definitely save you. Just like it didn't do to that other guy 5 minutes ago.
Mhm. Anyway, hey, have you ever looked into like fucking revolutionary, or have you ever looked into Civil War injuries?
Have
Yeah,
you
it's
ever looked
definitely
into
a good idea to amputate
real
limbs
fucked up shit?
willy-nilly.
Mhm. Have you ever looked into how the majority about how the majority of deaths that were caused during the Civil War weren't due to getting shot, they were due to getting an infection?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Amputations were always the best way to live and not get horrible diseases. Especially, you know, if you're amputating a limb in the fucking post-apocalypse and not in a fucking sterile hospital.
We're all a bit salty about this, aren't we?
Yes.
I walked away for a
I-
while and I came back.
I literally was taught this shit in fucking, I don't know, 6th grade?
Sorry. We got angry about bad zombie media.
Understood. Also, I did find the name of that manga that me and Ronnie were talking about, I believe.
Like,
Yeah.
my fucking
it
6th
is-
grade history class taught me more about this shit. About how
if-
fucking a bad idea it is to amputate a limb in a non-sterile environment.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Especially when
Uh,
that was proven to not fucking work. She's just a special protagonist.
Oh god, what are you talking about in this instance, Josh? I'm scared.
Have you seen the World War Z movie? It's
I
really
have.
bad.
Movie night.
Oh boy.
I'm going to get so angry all the time because the book is
Yay.
so fucking good and the movie is so fucking bad.
I do need you to know that anytime you go, oh yeah, this movie is bad, my first thought is, ooh, movie night.
Look, I will
God.
happily watch this with you if you'll watch Train to Busan after with me.
Train to Busan is
not
such a
Train
good
to
movie.
Busan.
It's such a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's really sad, but it's a good movie.
We have to balance out the bad movie with a good movie as a treat.
If
for
I am
enduring the
going to
horror.
have to watch zombies sprinting full force and piling on top of each other to get over a wall, you are going to watch Train to Busan with me.
Okay, but that's cool though. You have to admit that's at least a
cool, is
little
the
bit
thing.
cool.
It's just in the book they were slow. Explicitly in the book they were the slow type.
I see.
I
But,
would want. I
Yeah, just
I just wanted to say the watch Savage Land. It doesn't have like it doesn't directly show any like the zombie stuff. It's like about stuff in the aftermath, but it's just really good.
oh, I want to watch that more now.
Yeah. I like sent the Wikipedia page so you can see like what it's like about.
Okay, we can trade Train to Busan for this movie if you want.
Okay.
Because I know
Yay.
it's a bit gruesome and sad.
What I've been doing a lot during this stream is pretty much taking like the current concepts we have figured out, and basically imagining a scene of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of again, you go to an area that you think is safe to scavenge, and you get there, and you just see zombies like eating each other, like
Mm-hmm.
two zombies who are like tearing each other apart at the same time because they are both just as hungry as the other. And imagine having to be so careful to not make a sound before, so that way they both don't go after you.
Yeah, so that you can have a chance that maybe they'll kill each other before they can kill you.
And then it's also the fun of, again, I think the horror of actually, actually treating it like a virus and not just fucking werewolves.
Or I Am
Is that-
Legend.
is that then that means you need to actually have safety equipment so you don't get infected. And then there's the fun of, if a zombie manages to tear through your safety equipment, you genuinely wouldn't know if you're safe or not.
Yeah, because you might not have gotten infected, but you'll never actually know until it's too late.
Yeah. And again, if you are a person who's surviving on their own and you're like sick and bedridden, well, there's no way for your body to fight it off, so you know without a doubt it's going to work.
Unless you get like really lucky and have a really good immune system. But even
Or
then,
have-
like,
Or happen to have scavenged enough medical supplies to like try and fight it off as best you can.
yeah, I was gonna say, even then, like, if you are alone, nobody's gonna take care of you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna either die to become a zombie, or you're going to die from just mundane not being able to eat.
Yeah.
Because even then, while you're sick, if you're gonna be so sick that you're bedridden because your body is trying to fight off a genuinely dangerous disease, you're not gonna be able to feed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also not to say, hey, what if while you're sick, a zombie finds you?
Ugh.
Oh, easy dinner.
Ooh, delicious meal.
Real
Because
quick.
I think the idea of actually being sick adds so many good and fun horror opportunities.
I
Real
would
quick,
love
can I
to do another stream like this where we just flesh out like what survival would be like and what like the survivor groups would have to be like in this sort of situation.
Because here's the thing, it not being an instant thing actually kind of makes it so people have to be careful about not getting infected. Because that's the issue, right? If it's just like, oh, you get bit and you're dead thing, then you don't actually have to, like, worry about it aside from just making sure you don't get bit.
Yeah. It becomes less of a I don't want to get bit because I don't want to die, and becomes more of a I don't want to get infected because I will have no way of knowing until it's too late and I could possibly kill other people about it. More than just, oh, well, guess I'm dead. I might kill people when I'm dead, but I'm dead, so who cares?
Fuck, Jim got infected. Well, guess we gotta shoot him. Because that's the other thing.
Poor Jim
is that
at this point.
if you use that, because that's the other thing is that with this kind of virus, you can't really use that mentality.
Yeah, because there is
Because
always the
you don't know if
possibility
someone's-
that they'll survive the initial infection.
Which also gives your survivors more hope that their buddy's gonna make it through.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, actually. It's kind of fucked up that we
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah, because again, if it's just you get bit and you're done, then the hope is kind of just, well, maybe what if it doesn't work this time? What if I'm God's specialist little angel and I don't get turned into a zombie?
What if?
What if I'm the protagonist of this story?
Well, then you have to
I-
ask yourself which season of the Telltale Walking Dead game it is, because even then you might not be safe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Really quick. I've been trying to say this for like 10 minutes now.
Sorry.
It's the case of I'm not mad at anyone, but I've been talked over since I got
Well,
back.
it's like we tried to give you space and you didn't say it, so we assumed it was cool to go on.
No, because I've been having internet issues this past week.
Oh,
So
I'm
anytime
sorry,
I
Danny.
opened my mouth, someone was already talking. I just wanted to say really quickly, I know this isn't like important, but I've been trying to say it, so I'm just gonna say it. That the manga that Ronnie and I were talking about, ironically enough, it is called Night of the Living Cat, and yes, the entire concept is like, yes, people are turning into cats, and that the infection spreads by like pets and cuddles and everything.
Oh,
and
hell
it's-
yeah.
It is really good. Also, if you want another zombie movie to watch, I haven't seen it myself, but like I watched a full review of it and it was something I'm really interested in. Blood Quantum.
Oh yeah,
I've
that
heard
one.
that one's
I've heard
good.
that one.
Yeah, the concept being that, hey, there's a zombie outbreak, mostly because there is a flesh-eating virus that is being found in like the fish that like they've been discovering around, but it doesn't affect the the native peoples in that area. It only affects people who have like not settler, is that the term? Colonizer blood, like if basically if you are not from this land is trying to kill you type deal.
I love the idea of that so much. Because, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
it's a virus, but it's also kind of a magical one. It's like, you ain't supposed to be here.
Yeah, and it's like it's mostly the natives just trying to make sure that like their people are taken care of. Fun fact: one of the main characters has like a white girlfriend who he was about to have a child with, and that's like a major plot point. Is him trying to make sure she doesn't get infected because he doesn't want to lose her and their baby.
Yeah.
So like, oh.
Josh, would you mind if I stole this stream concept but for magical girls?
Please do. This is such a fun
No,
thing to do.
Katie, can we have matching streams? Because I really want to try to come up with some magical boy shit.
Yeah. Well, because I just think in general the concept of a magical person is really interesting in that there are many ways you could, like, go about doing it. And also basically how much of it is a, cool, you have a a cool magical transformation that is a separate form from you, and how much is it a Madoka of, yeah, this is just you now. You can go back to looking like a person, but you're
you
always
can't
a
be
magical
one.
girl. Smile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which
Oh,
part
this
of
is-
it is the illusion part? Like, that's a very
Yeah,
fun part
which
of magical girls.
which part is the transformation now that you've become a magical girl?
yeah. Where does like your alternate identity stop and you begin?
It's also a real, because again, that's the other thing, is it plays a lot into similar ideas of like the kind of really cool things you can do with superhero media that a lot of superhero media doesn't actually go for.
That the superheroes media is too much cowards to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like I say, besides the fact that like we were getting off topic because we were talking about like media that was about zombies, I think the notes we got so far are pretty interesting.
So I think something that'd be interesting to talk about, at least in terms of this virus, is again, it's like, I think because we talked about it being something that like, it's like that was like naturally formed rather than like created, is that it's like, what happens once it's discovered?
Ooh.
And kind of, are they able to contain it? Basically, how far does it get? How far does it get before it's discovered? And two, what is actually done about it once it's discovered? Because I feel like that is an important part of any zombie narrative, no matter how post-apocalypse it is. Of basically of where you are in the zombie apocalypse. Of even if you even if you're long after it's gone, still the I feel like a good thematic or like plot point thing in a lot of zombie apocalypses is the fact that the initial whatever the initial tactics to get rid of it was should be long felt, whether it's from an emotional standpoint or through a physical the land has been scarred standpoint.
I think we should put a pin on
Because
that for a part 2 stream because I am getting very tired and am not gonna have the brain creativity.
I'm not
So-
gonna go
Yeah.
into it, but can I? Because I don't. But can I at least get into like my thought process of at least examples?
Yes.
Like in terms of like a more emotional side effect. For example, you have like something like The Last of Us, where it's like the beginning of the story shows you, hey, here's the government trying to deal with it, and they're dealing with it by shooting anyone on sight. Verse, and I guess that kind of goes into kind of similar to versus Resident Evil, where how do we deal with the zombie virus that's taken over Raccoon City? We
Leon.
fucking do Raccoon City.
And then the sequel to Exploding Raccoon City is like, hey, let's take this one guy who survived and subject him to horrors.
Yeah,
He
because
hasn't
you
been
can't
through
let
enough.
anybody know what
Because
happened
he's so
here.
good at it. He's so
It's-
good at it. Now he becomes part of the system that made that fucked up his life.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they kind of kidnap him about it.
They do
Yeah,
kind
no.
of kidnap him about it, at least a little bit.
Yeah, no, he's blackmailed into it, but he is still part of the system that
yeah.
ruined his life.
Oh, yeah. No, you
Am I
see,
ta-
this is...
Am I talking
a-
about Leon S. Kennedy or Kai Kisk?
Yeah,
Anyway.
he got on board. He got on board of the murder trolley to change the trolley from the inside.
Now, are you talking about him working for the American government, or are you talking about him being a cop?
Yes!
Same difference.
God.
We got
okay.
it, folks. Got the ACAB in this stream.
We did it. Yippee.
We did it!
Okay, I do think I'm going to have to make the executive decision and hop out of.
Yeah,
hop out
I think
Yeah,
we
because
kind of
I
covered what
haven't.
we wanted
I
to
think we're
talk about.
done.
And
Yeah. We've
vis-a-vis the actual
2 hours.
virus. Get ready for next time where we talk about the setting.
Yippee!
Yeah.
Have a good night,
Also-
everybody.
Goodbye.